Hey guys, it's Julian. We are here today for another YouTube video where we will talk mainly about trading, how to spot and identify a real trading opportunity and how to manage your risk properly on this opportunity. So of course, this video is not financial advice. It's only like for educational purposes. So manage your risk properly and make sure you really understand what you are doing when it comes to trading or passing orders on like centralized exchanges and so on. So first, in crypto, we had like some kind of like a tracker that replicate gold, which is called Pax Gold, available on almost all exchanges for those who wants to, I don't know, trade gold or do anything regarding gold. Because I had a lot of questions about gold because like we had like a super big upward movement because of like the macroeconomic like kind of like scenario and so on, and because of like the invasion of Ukraine. The idea is like when you have like super big like bullish momentum, do not FOMO on the asset. Wait to have like some kind of like correction, especially on 4 hours. I think for me it's the right time frame to identify relevant market structure where we'll have like super big like a downtrend, and then you can like pass orders, you add limit orders and you wait to be executed, and that's the way to enter into gold for those who want to play a long-term bet. Be careful with gold. It's an asset that doesn't produces anything, so it's super like more like to hedge yourself than really like try to I don't know, create value or whatsoever. I had a lot of questions regarding Facebook stock because of like the super big correction we had since September 2021, that about 50%. It's super difficult to identify a bottom, especially like because of like the position of Facebook that really changed regarding like because they changed their name and so on. Now it's called Meta and so on. So it's super difficult to know if the stock is still overvalued or not, especially when you look at Apple or other big tech stock that are still super high compared like to the whole market that really moved a bit, that had a lot of downside in the previous months. But still, why not make a buy? You know, if you look on the daily time frame, all like oscillators, momentum indicators are super low, so that's always better to make to buy something, to buy an asset with like some kind of like macro idea on it, and also like with a nice structure and nice correction. Of course, you have a better risk reward ratio, but for me it's a bit too early. But for those who want to enter, always try to think of like how strong is your conviction by buying Facebook, and what will make you like exit your position, or what will make you take profit on the asset itself. So another chart that is super important, so now we will talk about crypto, is like Bitcoin dominance. So it's what's the share of Bitcoin in the whole crypto market. So you know today is like 43.38%. The idea is like for me it's interesting to enter altcoins where you have like some kind of like a market movement where like either Bitcoin like is having like a huge upward trend and is overperforming altcoin. Then you have like often like Bitcoin like stays a bit up or like can have some kind of like correction, and then you have like this kind of like big downward movement like for the Bitcoin dominance, where it's super interesting to like take exposure to altcoins and make small step, you know. So until we haven't reached above like 45% for like the Bitcoin dominance, I will mainly focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum on the crypto market, even though like I will pay altcoin a bit more expensive than they are today, for example. I don't mind. I'm always looking for the best risk reward ratio. So for Bitcoin, we are in a range since like beginning 2022. Okay, it's super boring, I know. You only have to make alerts or like watch the market super closely when we are close to like the top or the bottom of this range. So for me, it's always the same when it comes to like trading range. Is like I'm buying, you know, the support of the range and I'm selling the resistance. So be careful with like, do not do like any leverage or like maximum 1, 2, or 3. Bitcoin is already super volatile. So if you do like, for example, 10x leverage, Bitcoin can move like more than 8-9% a day. So you will be liquidated. So the idea with like leverage trading is like you have a dimension then that you, of course, you need to be right, but the other stuff is that you need to be right also on the way the asset will move, right? Because like you can, for example, open a trade over there for example here, and like you have like your liquidation price or stop loss price that is at 33 or $500, but Bitcoin like will go a bit lower than that and then go super high. So you would have been right on the scenario, but just you're out of the trade for like few percentage. So that's why be careful. It's super difficult, right? Always manage your risk properly. Try to entry small step by small step to reduce your risk and to play a bit smarter, right? So Bitcoin, we're waiting for like to do something outside of this range, and until he's like into this range or whatsoever, it's super difficult to get opportunities on altcoin, but we will try to identify some later on. Ethereum is super, you have a way better risk reward than Bitcoin for me, because like we are in a bearish trend since like half November, so it's now few months, you know. So in terms of like statistic probability, we are way more towards like some kind of like market structure that is more interesting for like buying spot than like, I don't know, shorting the asset or whatsoever. So we have this trend line that is playing as some kind of like resistance. For me, it's always the same. I'm looking way more at Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin gives me like some kind of like buying signal, I will try to buy Bitcoin and buy a bigger amount on Ethereum, because I'm way more bullish in Ethereum, and I do think that the risk reward in Ethereum is more important. But still, I'm not FOMOing in. I'm waiting to have like clear price on Ethereum, and for me, like for the coming weeks, the price that is super important for Ethereum to defend is like $2,500. $2,500, yeah. And that's where you want to buy. So always be patient, you know. The market always give opportunity. I know it's super difficult, right? Especially for those who are new into crypto, like since like 1 year or so. The market is super difficult. You don't have much opportunity. So that's why you need to manage your risk properly. For example, I'm over 90% stablecoin since like few months now. You know, I'm in no rush. I'm just looking at the market, you know, learning. You know, what we say in crypto is like when it's some kind of like bear market, like price is not only going up, it is time to educate, to learn stuff and so on. So that's the idea. For Solana, then now we will talk about how to identify interesting risk reward opportunities on altcoin. You know, that's the idea. You know, regarding trading is like finding scenarios where the upside, like the risk reward is interesting. Do not play trade where the risk reward is not interesting, because that doesn't make sense. And we will look at some later on. So you see, with this kind of like assets, it's a bit like Ethereum, you know, you have some kind of like bearish trend, and then the market, you know, like you are a bit more like going a horizontal way, and you have like some kind of like consolidation. So you always have to wait like some kind of like support, buying with like a closed stop loss whatsoever, and then you wait, right? But don't play too many trades, you know, at a time. Select your opportunities and try to play them really like with like a deep understanding, and like making sure you are aware of like the risk and so on, to really learn and learn new stuff. Another one like we discussed like in the group was about EGLD. I don't know if that's spelled that way in English, but anyway, so the idea would the scenario we were like I think like it was like 11 March, something like that. The scenario was like you wait to buy some kind of a support. You have like ideas where you say, okay, I'm bullish on this asset because there is a lot of coming news. For example, they are launching a new stuff on their launchpad and so on. So you say perhaps that's something that can like boost a bit the price, especially in the market where the opportunity are super low. It's always the same, you know, when the market is like super dry, like in crypto right now, news are have like a super small effect. I'm talking news on altcoin about the I don't know, the asset itself. You know, when you are a bull market, some kind of like small news can bring the price 20%, 30% plus, stuff like that. So the idea is like you make a buy, and then if you see that few weeks after you have buy like at $130, you see the price is like at 110, you say, okay, why not cut like a part of my position, because like we some kind like lose like this kind of support, and I will go wait to the price to go a bit lower to make another buy, and like that you are protecting your value in dollars, and still you are overperforming the asset in terms of like you will have more EGLD at the end of the day, which is what matters. If you have a strong conviction on altcoin, this is what matters. And this is the thing I want to say, that you know, I have been like so many times trapped into like altcoins or like small caps, like in the US stock markets, where you have a conviction, and when price go down, your conviction is like, I don't know why I bought this asset and so on. So to avoid this kind of scenario, really think, do your due diligence, do your research on this altcoin, on this asset. At the end of the day, you are the only one to blame if the trade doesn't go right? So be careful, and do your due diligence. So now, how to identify an opportunity? Let's take this altcoin, for example. It's called RADIUM. So I have anything against the team or the project. It's just like, if you look at the chart, for me, you have no idea if like the price will continue to drop, like, I don't know, or go up, right? What I say is like, I have a strong selling pressure that is not stopping. Also, I know that this assets has like some kind of super high inflation because of like of this farming and so on. So for me, like every day you have a selling pressure. You have a lot of people who bought way above this current price, who are trapped and will continue to sell during like the coming weeks. So how to be bullish on this coin, right? And of course, if you want to short this asset, there is no point shorting this kind of asset like that is down 99.x%, you know, because like there is the only stuff you will have like is a short squeeze. So, and I haven't seen like some kind of strong like short pressure like on derivatives regarding this asset. So I'm like, you know, it's like, do not touch this kind of assets, right? Or you will lose money for sure. So it's easy to identify, right? You just look at in daily time frame. Another coin that is different is like Woo network. Is like some kind of like a new concept of trading platform. If you look at it in daily, okay, let me remove all drawings. So if you look at it in daily, you see that first that the correction since like half November is way smaller compared to the correction we had on RADIUM in terms of percentage. And you see that you have like, okay, still a downtrend, but we are at a place where the volatility is like lower. We have some kind of like a horizontal movement. So I'm way more into like buying this kind of assets than buying RADIUM, even though I do prefer to have like confirmation. But here we can have like some kind of confirmation because like we had like some kind of like a higher low, and then we have like some kind of like market, I don't know, market like change that I identify, you know, with like the yellow colors with like a W, and then you have like some kind of correction. And if Bitcoin like holds, and even Bitcoin do like some kind of an upward movement, I'm way more bullish on Woo than RADIUM. I'm not talking in terms of like percentage you will make on the trade, because perhaps on RADIUM you would make 100%, like 2x, like in few weeks. Just for me, the risk reward ratio is way much better on Woo token than RADIUM. It doesn't mean that I'm right and that Woo token will outperform RADIUM, right? Just in terms of risk reward, the probability is way higher on Woo than RADIUM. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the idea, was to give you like few advice on trading, reminds you about the risk. I know I'm not super bullish, right? It's way, I would have preferred to make like a super bullish video where I'm like, oh, everything is going up, but that's not the case. That's why you need to manage your risk properly. This is time of the market where all weekends, what we say, exit the market, and like we'll miss the big opportunities that are definitely coming sooner or later. And this is where like people who stay in the market continue to learn, continue to do some research about the project, explore DeFi and so on, will be super strong for the next market cycle. So hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget, like, I don't know, to comment anything, like, subscribe, share the video whatsoever. Always a pleasure. And even though you can add in comments what you want me to discuss or discuss during the next video, I will be glad to answer your questions. So anyways, have a good end of week, and see you soon for another YouTube video.